with 28:25 remaining on the clock. Number 133, Ala Iñiguez, used to skate with the Pikes Peak Derby Dames last season, now skating with the Pueblo Derby Devil Dolls, up to jam for the Pueblo Derby Devil Dolls, and interestingly enough, up to jam for the Pikes Peak Derby Dames is number 1936, Billy Foulplay, who skated with Pueblo last year and is now skating with the Pikes Peak Derby Dames. Your lead jammer is Billy Foulplay. She was out quick, nice little jump through the pack. Ala Iñiguez now clear of the pack, chasing her down about half a track between the two though. So Billy's gonna work her way into the pack. She's gonna get through, pick up 5 points, and call off the jam. Alrighty, once again, if you're just joining us or if you're just getting the signal, ladies and gentlemen, thanks so much for joining us on ColoradoSports.TV here at the Colorado Springs City Auditorium. Pikes Peak Derby Dames Slamazons versus the Pueblo Derby Devil Dolls. And we're into the third jam of the game. Currently, we're 5-8. The Pueblo team is in the lead, and we're into the next jam. Ringo Scar, number 667, up to jam for a second jam for the Pueblo Derby Devil Dolls. Picks up a cutting the track as she comes into turn number 1. She's going to go sit for 30 seconds. That means that this is an opportune time for number 80A, Rip and Rooster. If she can break that pack and get out, she can still get lead jammer for the Dames and potentially change up the score. And it looks like there was a score correction. 4-8 is the score. Pueblo's still with the lead by 4 points. Harley Innocent getting a multiplayer block there means that Pueblo just has 3 players on the track, all of them blockers, doing a really good job holding up Rip and Rooster. And that hit right there was by Farm Fresh. Took Rip and Rooster out. She's going to push her back, but it looks like Farm Fresh getting a penalty puts Pueblo down to just 2 on the track. Now Ringo Scar has returned from the track. Lead jammer is Rip and Rooster, but really good defense there by Pueblo. They were able to keep that jammer almost the entire penalty. Now Rip and Rooster coming in looking to put some points on the board for the Pikes Peak Derby Dames. She calls off the jam. No points for Pueblo. 2 more points, or 3 more points, I apologize. 3 more points for the Pikes Peak Derby Dames. That takes it to a 1-point game. 7-8, 27:03 remaining on the clock. Both these teams want this win. So we're going to see who they put up next. We've got number 1623, Jamie Foxshoe, taking on number 007, Moose, as we get into the next jam. And we're off. Jamie Foxshoe starts on the inside. Her whole team kind of moves everybody to the inner field. Jamie comes around the outside, takes it. Lead jammer goes to Jamie Foxshoe up. Not too far behind her. Moose breaks the pack about, I would say, a quarter of a track behind her. I mean, she's got some time to get in there, get some points, which she does. All 4 points, calls off the jam. And we're now looking at 12-12. I'm not sure what happened with the scoreboard there, why it's a tie game all of a sudden, but it is in fact a tie game. I'm going to guess there must have been 2 passes last time and 1 wasn't accounted for on the track. So if my guess is correct, then in the previous jam, the Dames did take over the lead, and now we're back to a tie game with 26:18 remaining on the clock. Ala Iñiguez, number 133, up for Pueblo, taking on Speeding Beauty, number 8A for the Pikes Peak Derby Dames. Ala Iñiguez goes to the inside, comes back to the outside, able to break through. Lead jammer is Ala Iñiguez. Stuck in the pack is Speeding Beauty, taking a beating from Harley Innocent and the big Kapowski. And they are doing some really good management there now. It looked like, I think that was Joan Cusack. It was. Joan Cusack on the inside line, able to hold Speeding Beauty by herself and recycle her just a little bit. And once again, Joan tries that hip move, but Speeding Beauty able to break on the outside line. Now Ala Iñiguez back around for a scoring pass. Out past 24 Karat Solid Gold, picks up all 5 points she was in and got the points for the jammer. So that's going to put the Pueblo Derby Devil Dolls back in the lead, 12-17, 25-20 remaining on the clock. Number 1936, Billy Foulplay takes the line for the Pikes Peak Derby Dames up against number 667, Ringo Scar. Now the two jammers skated on the same team last year in the same position, so they have a rapport. Let's see how it plays out when they got to play against each other. And here we go, Ringo Scar looking to break right up the center line there, able to make some movement happen there, but then gets sucked back into the pack. Meanwhile, Billy Foulplay being managed really hard at the back of the pack, and Ringo Scar able to penetrate that pack along the inside line. Lead jammer goes to the Pueblo Derby Dollz. Pikes Peak Derby Dames Billy Foulplay now out about half a track-ish behind Billy Foulplay. Ringo Scar in, looking to get her 4 points. She does, she calls off the jam. Pueblo increasing their lead ever so slightly again. 1 point picked up by Billy Foulplay though, because you can score points all the way through the fourth whistle. 9-21 with 24:15 remaining, and Pueblo in the lead. 7, Brass Moose Knuckles up for the Pikes Peak Derby Dames, and number 133, former Pikes Peak Derby Dame Ala Iñibiz up for the Pueblo Derby Devil Dolls. Moose right up the center line, runs into Farm Fresh, and now Joan Cuesmack doing a really good job holding her, but she's out. Lead jammer goes to Moose, not far behind her. Ala Iñibiz though, chasing her down now. We got 20 feet. Looks like Moose is gonna go and look for some points. Her team is hanging out at the back of the pack though. That may cause her to have to shut down sooner, and she does. Ala Iñibiz gets to the back of the pack. She doesn't want to give up any points. It's going to be a 0-0 jam once again. Pueblo really putting the pressure on the Slamazons. There's the whistle. Slamazons down on a blocker may make things a little more difficult for her, but no, they do a really good job managing Ringo Scar and Speeding Beauty right out of the pack. Lead jammer now. Ringo Scar finds her way outside the front of the pack as well and is eligible to score, but is about a half a lap behind Speeding Beauty, who is going to go in and look for some points. Speeding Beauty comes in, and Pow Pow and Harley Innocent looking to take her out. She's going to get through though and pick up 2 points for the Slamazons. It's going to put us at 11-21, 10-point game, 21:30 on the clock. And we're going to take a team timeout. The Slamazons calling a team timeout. It's a great time to thank you once again for joining us here at ColoradoSports.TV. Broadcasting currently live from the Colorado Springs City Auditorium, where the Pikes Peak Derby Dames Slamazons are taking on the Pueblo Derby Devil Dolls, all the way down from that faraway place called Pueblo.
Oh, okay, sorry. That's official timeout.
And I just heard from the house that this has actually turned into an official timeout. So I didn't see a review challenge. Looks like it is just going to be an official timeout. If I hear more about what it's about, I will let you know. Doesn't appear to be any changes on the tracks, and unsure what the official's timeout was for, but we're going to get back into the game. There's the jam whistle. We're moving. Ala Inubis looking to go to the outside, then switching back to the inside. Meanwhile, Billy Foulplay driving kind of a diagonal line through the pack, almost makes it through, but then gets recycled all the way back to the back. And once again now, Ala Inubis at the top of the pack there, up against Kitty, who is doing a really good job managing her, but she manages to make it out. Billy Foulplay coming around, goes to the infield, and then thinks she's the lead jammer, but she wasn't, so she's got to recycle and start her way through. That took her almost to the full lap for the recognition, so Ala Inubis gets 4 points easy, and now she can shut down the jam whenever she's ready. And there she goes. 11-25, 18:55 remaining on the clock. Rippin' Rooster taking the star for the Slamazons during this jam. It's going to be up against number 667 Ringo Scar for the Pueblo Derby Devil Dolls.
Rooster, it's Ringo Scar.
And we're off. Rooster at the front side of the pack early, but getting hung up there. Now Ringo Scar on the outside line trying to get through Peter Bailey, gives it up and looks to go through the inside, kind of right behind Rippin' Rooster, and finds the way through first. Lead jammer goes to Ringo Scar. Rippin' Rooster with a little bit of a strange footwork there, goes through and is going to pick up a cutting the track penalty. Power jam for the Pueblo Derby Devil Dolls. This could be what Pueblo has been waiting for, is an opportunity to increase their lead. Pack starts to stretch out. Ringo Scar doing a good job at the front side of the pack there. Comes up against Karma, is taken out and going to have to recycle, and they're going to take her back as far as possible. Harley Innocent, meanwhile, trying to hold up people, gets taken out. I'm sorry, that was not Harley Innocent, that was Strawberry Sour. Trying to take out some people, knocks herself out of bounds as well. Has to recycle. Ringo Scar now back in, trying to walk that inside line, but gets taken out again by Peter Bailey. Gonna recycle, start over again. Jam comes to an end. Pueblo did pick up 5 points during that jam, 11-30, 17-10 remain. Pueblo gonna start with a power start. It looks like the jammer for the Slamazons is standing, so Rooster will return within 10 seconds. That means Jamie Foxua for Pueblo is looking to make her way through that pack quick and grab lead jammer for Pueblo. That was the jam on whistle. Jamie looking to break right up the middle. Almost makes it, but gets hung up by Megan My Day and Terrifying, but then makes quick work of it. She is lead jammer, and that was before Rippin' Rooster ever came back. Rippin' Rooster now up against the solid wall of yellow. Pueblo putting on the defense. Jamie Foxshow coming back through, all the way through the pack, as Rippin' Rooster out in front of her just about 10 feet. She's going to go ahead and call off the jam after putting 4 on the board. 11-34, Pueblo getting in there, nickel and diamond, but able to keep that score moving for him and holding the Dames for quite a number of jams now to just 11 points with 16:04 remaining in this first half of the bout. Number 133, Ala Inubis, taking on number 007, Brass Moose Knuckles. The Slamazons are down 1 blocker, so Pueblo with an advantage in the pack. Let's see if it makes a difference as we get into the jam. They start at the pivot line. Moose coming in, a big hit on the backside. It was not a back block call, so she's able to recover, but Ala Inubis, meanwhile, takes all the confusion, gets her way out. Lead jammer goes to Ala Inubis for Pueblo. Moose now stuck in the pack behind Lady Lorna, but able to make her way clear after being about a half a lap behind Ala Inubis. Let's see if Ala Inubis is paying attention here. She's coming through. She saw Moose. She's going to call off the jam. She did want to get all 4 points, I guess. Only gave up 1 to the Slamazons. 12-38, 15:09 remain on the clock for this half of the bout.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, remember it's time. Once again, we are doing tons of stuff around time. Please get your shuttles off. Bring in those prizes.
And it's going to be Ringo Scar for Pueblo taking on Speeding Beauty for Pikes Peak. And Pueblo lets their jammer right through now. Ringo Scar only has 2 blockers to pass, but it's Beater Bailey and Serious Business looking to hold her up. She's able to make it pass and is lead jammer for Pueblo. Speeding Beauty, meanwhile, has an entire wall out there taking her on, and Pow Pow, Big Kapowski, with a nice hit, takes her out, recycles her as far back as possible, and she's got a skate malfunction now. 5 points on the board for Ringo Scar. Ringo Scar's going to go ahead and let her fix her skate and keep on going. Still on her initial pass is Speeding Beauty coming back to the track. Another 5 points for Ringo Scar. Means Pueblo continues to increase their lead. Bad time to have a skate malfunction for Speeding Beauty. Speeding Beauty again taking it to the outfield. She recycles back and comes on. Oh no, it's going to be a cutting the track penalty on Speeding Beauty. She even knew it. She looked at the ref and said, I know. Ringo Scar coming back through, taken out by Serious Business. Serious Business looking to take her back as far as possible. Jam comes to an end. Another 5-point pass for Ringo Scar means Pueblo increases her score 12-53, 13:30 remaining on the clock. Pueblo going to have pretty much an entire power jam here as we get things moving. And it looks like this power jam will be Jamie Foxuup's power jam. 16:23 though. 30 seconds, almost an entire 30 seconds of play for Pueblo coming up here, with being the only ones who have an opportunity to have a jammer on the track. Jamie coming right up the middle again, looking to break the pack there, looking to get a little help from her team member Harley. Is able to get through on the inside line, past Beater Bailey, past Karma. Lead jammer goes to Jamie Foxuup. Harley Innocent picked up a penalty in that last pass, so Pueblo down a blocker, but still Pueblo with a power jam. Jamie on a scoring pass. Speedy Beauty now returning to the track, gonna meet up with the wall of yellow that Pueblo fields. 5 more points on the board for Pueblo. Speedy Beauty still stuck in the pack there. Pueblo really giving her some serious resistance. Just Havoc, the last one to pass. Serious Business takes the star and puts it on her head. So she is now the jammer. Jamie Foxuup into the pack, picks up 4 points more, calls off the jam. That's going to put us at a 50-point game, 12-62. Pueblo really bringing it. 12 minutes, 7 seconds remain on the clock. If you've watched Derby, though, that's just a couple of power jams of difference. So we'll have to see if Pueblo can keep up the pressure on the Slamazons. And I know the Slamazons are out there trying to figure out what they need to do to make this happen for them. So we're going to have number 133, Ala Inyabiz, taking on number 1936, Billy Foul Play, as we get into the jam. And Ala Inyabiz is around the outside line and then bumped into by number 43, Crab Apple, but able to stay up. Lead jammer going to Pueblo. Billy Foul Play, meanwhile, taking a beating from her old teammates in the pack there, is able to clear past Joan Q Smack, Pow Pow, and Nitrogen, and is now eligible to score now. Ala through, picks up all 4 points for Pueblo and going to call off the jam. 11:30 clock, 12-66. Pueblo with a pretty commanding lead at the moment. Alrighty, we got Ringo Scar taking on Rippin' Rooster as we get into the next jam now. Ringo Scar really pushing on that front wall, looking to find a way through, and around pass. 24 carats, solid cold, picks up her foot, touches the outfield, picks it up, touches the infield. That's going to be a cutting the track penalty. She's gone. And it's power jam for Rippin' Rooster. Pueblo also losing James Bondage and Strawberry Sour, means they've only got 2 blockers on the track. This is what the Slamazons want right now. An opportunity to put unopposed points on the board, and not very many blockers to hold them up, but those blockers doing a really good job. That's Farm Fresh and Havoc her way. for Pueblo. The only two blockers on the track, able to hold her up for just about 10 seconds there on that first pass. Looking to hold her up again. They're trying to keep her from putting too many points before Ringo Scar returns. And there go another 5 points for the Slamazons. Jane's bondage released, Ringo Scar released. So Jane's going to go rejoin. We'll have a little bit more blocker line for Pueblo. Ringo Scar coming in now to a solid wall of black. It's going to be another 5 points on the board for the Slamazons, and then Rippon's going to go ahead and call it off. 27-66, 15-point jam for the Slamazons. 9:20 remain on the clock. Official timeout is being called. I don't know if you can hear that over the ambient mic or not, but it sounds like somebody in the audience is booing whenever Moose is on the line. That's not actually the case. It's really tough to hear it in here, but they're saying Moose. That's become the cheer for whenever Moose is out to jam. And it looks like she has been fielded as the jammer for the Slamazons for this upcoming jam as soon as the official timeout ends. She's going to face off against number 1623, Jamie Foxua. Oh, it's actually going to, I thought I heard correctly, there was an illegal call off on the last one. I thought perhaps Ringo Scar had achieved lead before the cut happened, and that appears to be the case because now the Slamazons will not have a jammer because Ripon Rooster has been assessed a penalty for an illegal call off and is in the penalty box. So not what the Slamazons want to happen after making a pretty good gain, 26-66, for Pueblo to have a power jam. And Pueblo at full strength in the pack. Slamazons down one blocker in the pack. This means Jamie Foxua has a full 30 seconds to make some score and increase that gap that the Pueblo team has already created against the Slamazons. Now, Jamie, looking to go through twice, has taken two big hits to the outside. And now she goes along the outside. Peter Bailey looking to take her out once again, but Jamie able to scoop right underneath her for lead jammer for Pueblo. And now this is her opportunity to rack up some points. And as she comes in, she's taken out by Karma. Both of the other team members from the Pikes Peak Derby Dames return. Ripon Rooster to the backside of the pack, takes a beating from Pow Pow and gets right back on, though. Jamie Foxua is going to get 5 more points on the board, and Ripon Rooster still on her initial pass, so Jamie's going to keep on keeping on, looking to increase that lead that Pueblo has. Jamie along the outside does a nice little fake out on Peter Bailey and puts another 5 points on the board for Pueblo. Ripon Rooster made it out, and that's why Jamie called off the jam there. 26-77. Pueblo making up a majority of the points that the Pikes Peak Derby Dames were able to pick up in that last jam. So able to increase their lead back to almost where they were before the previous jam, where we had power jams going the other way. Number 133, Ala Inyabiz, up against number 007, Brass Moose Knuckles. And we've got another official timeout being called.
Took me 30 seconds to get the Chicago. And there was parking in front because there was snow. That's good.
Clock is stopped at 7:36. Remember, there's a whole nother half after this half. So even though the score is got a decent space between it, like I said before, that could just be a minor couple power jams for the Slamazons to make a comeback here. I know Pueblo came into the evening, though, really wanting to take this win. They just took a win last weekend, so they're looking to continue their winning streak so far for their 2015 season. There's the game on whistle, so we'll get back into the game here in just a few seconds. Alrighty, so this time it's both jammers on the track. Pikes Peak still down, one blocker on the track there. All is though driven to the outfield by Karma and Serious Business. Hydromaniac getting a penalty, loses Pueblo a blocker. Moose able to break out the front side of the pack is lead jammer for the Slamazons. All Anubis still stuck in the pack. Pikes Peak really turning on the defense this time. Moose coming in for a scoring pass. Alla breaks the front side of the pack. Not lead, but eligible to score. But Moose in the pack will likely be looking to call off the jam. And there she goes. She's going to call off the jam. Alla looking to jump and gets some points. Actually gets a misconduct and goes to the penalty box. That's going to be a power jam for the Slamazons. Fielding Speeding Beauty, 28-76. This is what the Slamazons need, is for Speeding Beauty to get out there, break the pack, get lead jammer, get points. Pueblo with just 3 blockers on the track could be an advantage for the Pikes Peak Derby Dames. Pack slows down at the back, being managed at the front. We've got Pow Pow up against Speeding Beauty, but Speeding Beauty going to break her way through. Now she's clear to put as many points on the board as she can while she's out there by herself. Some nice little dance moves as she comes into the pack there. Quick work of the pack. 5 more points go on the board for the Slamazons. Pack waits for her in turn number 1 as she comes in right into Hydromaniac and then stopped by the big Kapowski. Harley Innocent and Farm Fresh. Now Hydromaniac get in there getting some of that as well. All Anubis back from the box. The whole pack kind of explodes in a defensive manner. Alla now clear and eligible to score as Speeding Beauty has been hung up in the pack on this scoring pass. She probably got all the points already, I'm going to bet. She actually only got 3 points. That was good work by Pueblo on that last jam. 36-76 means we got a 40-point game. 5 minutes, 10 seconds remaining on the clock. We're going to set them right back up. Number 667, Ringo Scar on the jam line, up against number 1936, Billy Foul Play. As we go into an official review, the official review coming from Pikes Peak. If I find out any information about what it is, I'll be sure to share with you.
Let's give this gentleman plenty of time. 5 minutes, plenty of time. But maybe some more donations before halftime. And Jacob Show is going to get a shave. And it's Beard and Eyebrows only $500 and $800. So please visit the table at the Sapphire for St. Patrick's and donate to David's team. So
what we've got is Pikes Peak has issued an official challenge. The referees are discussing if their challenge is official. I do not know what the challenge was. I apologize. I have not been informed. But I'll look and see if anything changes on the track or what the results of the official review are going to be. Okay, so the official review appears to be points on the last jam for Pikes Peak. They believe they should have gotten all 4 or more on that last pass. Does not appear that they're going to be awarded, which means that Pikes Peak will no longer have an official review during this period. They will get one more in the next period. So we're going to get back into the action here. 36-76 when we went into the official review. 4 minutes, 58 seconds in this half of the game. We got a whole nother half. Only 40 points. That's easily made up with a couple power jams, but Pueblo is not looking to make that happen as Ringo Scar comes off the line, quickly grabs lead jammer. Now Billy foul play about a half a lap, almost a full lap behind her, looking to catch her, is out of the pack as Ringo Scar comes back into the pack, and Ringo Scar going to pick up a back block. That's not what she wanted to happen. Billy foul play into the pack, picks up 5 points for the Slamazons, and now has 30 seconds to pick up as many more points as she can. Coming in, oh, she takes a slide, almost gets landed on by Jane's Bondage. Back up though, and through for another 5 points on the board for the Slamazons. And Billy coming back in. Jane's Bondage doing a good job there with some help from Strawberry Sour and Pow Pow. They were able to hold her up for just a few seconds. Another 5 points go on the board for the Slamazons. Ringo Scar returns from the penalty box. That's going to be a scoring pass for her. She's going to pick up 4 points for the Pueblo team. And we're going to go for the full length of this jam. Billy foul play back in, looking to put more points on the board for Pikes Peak, and Ringo Scar now back in and looking to put more points on the board for Pueblo. Ringo all the way through, picks up another 4 points, and there's Billy foul play not too far behind her with another 4 points on her side of the board. 20 seconds to go. They can still get some more points on the board here. Ringo Scar coming in as the pack starts to speed up. She's through. That's going to put another 4 points on the board for Pueblo, and Billy foul play now back in, looking to catch that yellow wall, picking them off one by one. Out along the outside line, she does pick up 4 more points for herself. So on the jam, 23 points for the Slamazons, 12 points for Pueblo. Takes us to 59-88 with 2:46 remaining on the clock. 1 or 2 more jams, and then we'll go into the halftime. Jamie Foxx show up jamming for Pueblo up against somebody. I can't tell you who until I see him though. Jamie Foxx show up quickly off that line and through the pack. And that's Rippin' Rooster for the Slamazons. Stuck in the pack, having some trouble, taking a beating from the big Kapowski. Meanwhile, Jamie Foxx show up along the outside past Kitty, picks up a quick 5 for Pueblo. Pueblo looking to break 100 before the half. And again, Jamie Foxx show up in, and there's another 5 points. And in the meantime, in the pack, we've got a cutting the track penalty on Rippin' Rooster, which means now it's a power jam for Pueblo, which means I'm pretty sure we're going to see Jamie keep on skating as long as she can. Another 5 points go on the board for Pueblo. Pueblo breaking that 100-point mark and continuing to rack them up. Jamie coming in, breaks a hole through that wall. Another 5 points going to go on the board for Pueblo. And Jamie coming in again, gets hung up on the inside line there by Kitty. And Grenade able to drive her to the infield. Jamie's going to go ahead and call off the jam. Speedy Beauty coming back on the initial pass. 59-112. That was a 24-point power jam for Jamie Foxx up. 48 seconds remaining on the clock means we're going to get at least one more jam out of this half of the game. Number 133, Ala Anyabid, is going to take on number 007, Brass Moose Knuckle. Here's the whistle, and we're going. And Moose getting hung up by Farm Fresh there. They both kind of fell onto each other as Ala Ediabiz clears the front side of the pack. Lead jammer not too far behind her, about 30 feet separating the two of them. Ala Ediabiz looking to go in for some more points for Pueblo as the clock ticks down on the period. We will play the jam until it's called. The clock expires 2-2 on the jam. Both jammers picking up 2 points. 61-114 as we go into the half. Pueblo with a pretty strong lead. We're looking to take the win. Slamazons really want to take it as well, so they're going to go to half, think about what's going on here, and fix their strategy. Pueblo, meanwhile, going to really be looking to maintain what they had this entire first half. Really tough defense, getting their jammer off the line and out of the pack so they could score, and then managing the jam so that the other team couldn't put points on the board. Thanks once again for joining us at ColoradoSports.TV. We'll be back shortly with the second half of the Pikes Peak Derby Dames Slamazons taking on the Pueblo Derby Devil Dollz. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to ColoradoSports.TV, presenting you the Pikes Peak Derby Dames Slamazons taking on the Pueblo Derby Devil Dolls here at the Colorado Springs City Auditorium. We're going into the second half now. In the previous half, Pueblo putting up some really tough defense and really getting their jammer out of the pack, putting points on the board. 61-114. 30 more minutes of play for the Slamazons to change things up here. And it looks like we're going to start with a change. Number 00, Serious Business with the star for the first time in this bout is going to take on number 667, Ringo Scar from the Pueblo Derby Devil Dolls. And we're off. Ringo Scar looking for a hole. Meanwhile, Serious Business just going to penetrate right through the middle of the pack. She's out. Lead jammer going to the Slamazons. Ringo Scar finds her way out of the pack. She is not lead, about a quarter of a track behind Serious Business, so Serious going to go in for some points. Comes in, hits right into Strawberry Sour, calls off the jam. 1 point for the Slamazons, no points for Pueblo. So we're at 62-114 with 29:23 remaining on the clock. Set him up again. Number 8A, Speeding Beauty, going to be jamming with the star for Pikes Peak this time, and it is going to be Jamie Fox up number 1623 for Pueblo. Speeding Beauty nicely through the middle of the pack there. Out and eligible score. Lead jammer going once again to Pikes Peak. Jamie Fox up now coming out and looking to catch her, but she's already back to the pack. Speeding Beauty now coming in, looking to get those points on the board. Is going to call off the jam. Did pick up 2 points on the pass. Pikes Peak coming in strong. Now Pueblo has had some struggles with the second half during the last season, so they're kind of showing that same pattern here. Let's see if they can get back into that, releasing the jammer and getting him out. Pikes Peak, though, really went in, found their strategy, and is making a comeback. The nickel and dime will work right now. They've got 28:15 remaining on the clock. 64-114. Pueblo still with a pretty commanding lead. Billy Foul Play numbers. I just forgot where I was for a second there. Billy Foul Play jamming for Pikes Peak up against Ala Inyabiz for Pueblo. Again, like I said, they played on the opposite teams last season. Billy Foul Play now driving that pack really far out there. Lead jammer going to Billy Foul Play as she's able to make it around that wall of defense for Pueblo. That's 3 lead jams for Pikes Peak in the second half. Ala Inyabiz now out and eligible to score, but again, Billy Foul Play already around and ready to put points on the board. She's into the pack. She takes a look behind her. She's going to call off the jam. 1 point more for Pikes Peak. Takes us 65-114. Number 00, Serious Business, back up on the line for Pikes Peak. And it's going to be number 667, Ringo Scar for Pueblo. There's the whistle. Fancy footwork happening. It looks like Serious Business switches to defense mode there for just a moment. Now Ringo Scar finds a way right through solid cold and is out. Lead jammer going to Pueblo. Serious Business, meanwhile, facing a serious wall of defense from Pueblo. Farm Fresh knocking her down on one side. She switches to the other and gets beat on by Havoc her way. She makes her way out, though, and is now eligible to score. Ringo Scar through an easy 4 points more for Pueblo. Pueblo finally putting some points up on the board. 65-118. 26-24 remaining in the game. Number 16-23, Jamie Fox up with the star for Pueblo, taking on number 8A, Speeding Beauty for Pikes Peak. And we're off. Speeding Beauty takes a hit, but able to stay up, comes in on the outside and out. Lead jammer goes to Pikes Peak. Meanwhile, Jamie Foxshoe finds her way out about a half a lap behind Speeding Beauty. Pack is maintaining a slow speed. Pikes Peak doing a good job managing the speed of that pack. 2 points and going to call it off. 67, 118, 25, 37 remain in the bout. Number 19, 36, Billy Foulplay returns to the line up against number 133, Ala Inyabiz. Full 4-on-4 on the floor. No advantage to either team here. Slamazons, though, really showing they want to change things up, coming in, getting that lead jam, getting their points, getting out. Billy Foulplay now gets stuck behind Pow Pow, Nitrogen, and Farm Fresh, former teammates of hers, as Ala Inyabiz fights her own former teammates and makes it around Kitty at the front of the pack there. Lead jammer goes to Ala Inyabiz, always a big smile when she comes around. Billy Foulplay finds her way past Nitrogen at the front side of the pack and is eligible to score. Ala Inyabiz stuck at the back side of the pack there. She's going to call off the jam. Billy Foulplay coming in. It's going to be a 0-0 jam. 118 to 67. Pueblo still with the lead. Number 00 Serious Business up against number 667 Ringo Scar once again. Still 4-on-4 in the pack, so tough walls being presented by both teams, and they're all present. Makes it that much tougher for a jammer to get through, and we've seen that in this half. Some really good points control from both teams. Now Ringo Scar again along the inside line finds Solid Cold and makes her way right through her for lead jam. Meanwhile, Serious Business in the pack ends up getting tripped up by Boom Boom there. Doesn't let her affect her too much. She's out. Both teams losing a blocker to the box as Ringo Scar comes through, puts 4 more on the board for Pueblo and calls off the jam. Speeding Beauty versus Jamie Foxshoe up on the line once again. Both teams down a blocker, so we're pretty even in the pack. There's a little more space for each team to cover, giving the jammers a potential opportunity to break out a little easier. Now Speeding Beauty really driving into that pack, but meanwhile, Jamie Foxshoe just coming along the outside line is out, and lead jammer for Pueblo. Speeding Beauty gets hung up in the pack. That means Pueblo's got an opportunity here to score. Jamie Foxshoe coming in hard to the pack. A whistle is blown. It looks like a blocking with the head on Speeding Beauty makes it a power jam for Pueblo. Not something that Pikes Peak wanted. And 4 points go on the board for Pueblo. Jamie Foxshoe back in once again, gets some help from Harley Innocent, clearing that inside line. She's out for another 5. And Jamie coming back in this time, some help on the outside from Joan Q-Smack. She's able to walk right through. Another 5 go on the board for the Pueblo Derby Devil Dolls. Pack waits for it in turn number 1, and again, coming right down the middle this time, Jamie Foxshoe gonna call it off. She heard somebody saying call it off. They were trying to trap Speeding Beauty in the box, but Speeding Beauty got released, so that means we'll start with both jammers on the track, and it looks like it's going to be number 133, Ala Inyabiz, taking on number 1936, Billy Foulplay. And Billy, if you watch this back, your mom wanted me to tell you that you are the best jammer she's seen on the track tonight. Her mom is here watching, touched base with me at the halftime, and wanted me to share that message with her daughter. So love from your mom, Billy. Back to the action on the track. Ala Inyabiz at the front side of the pack. They're being managed by Karma, but able to get off and out of the pack. Lead jammer Billy Foulplay, meanwhile, stuck at the back of the pack. Her team members come in, clear that inside line. She's able to break the pack, half a lap behind as Ala Inubis comes in, driving on the inside line, calls off the jam. 3 points on the board for Pueblo on that jam. 67-141 with 20:50 remaining on the clock. Number 667, Ringo Scar, returning to the jam line for Pueblo, taking on number 00, Serious Business for Pikes Peak. Whistles on. Serious Business again on the outside line, does some good blocking, taken out by Joan Q-Smack, but able to stay in bounds. Lead jammer goes to Serious Business on that toe stop run along the outside line. Ringo Scar trapped behind Moose in the pack, and now Karma getting in there, doing a good job stretching out the pack. Ringo Scar still trying to break as Serious Business comes in for a scoring pass. Big hits happening there. Nitrogen takes her out, but goes out herself. Both recover. Now Serious Business against Joan Q-Smack and Strawberry Sour. Smack to the outside and then pack again to the inside. Ringo Scar does break the pack. Serious Business almost clearing the pack there. She's going to call off the jam. She did earn all 5 points on the pass, but Pueblo did not make it easier for her to put in points on the board that time. 72-141, 19:29 remaining on the clock.
Thank you so much.
Jamie Fox, you up on the line for Pueblo, taking on Speeding Beauty for the Slamazons. And we're off. Speeding Beauty driving kind of in the middle outside there, gets hung up by all 4 blockers. Meanwhile, Jamie Fox, you up, trying to find a way around her own blockers, kind of confuses the blocking line from Pikes Peak and is able to break the pack. Lead jammer Pow Pow headed off to the penalty box is going to make Pueblo's line a little short as Jamie comes in along the outside. So much confusion in the pack. That's an easy 5 for Pueblo. Speeding Beauty breaks through on the inside line. She is now eligible to score. Jamie coming in for a scoring pass on the inside line. Makes it look easy. Another 4 points for Pueblo. She calls off the jam. 9-point jam for Pueblo. 72-150, 18:22 remaining on the clock.
18 minutes left in this battle.
Number 133, Ala Idiabiz up against number 1936, Billy Foul Play. Pack's going to start kind of in the middle of the box this time. An interesting strategy for them. Now, Pueblo is going to be down 2 blockers on the track. Advantage to Pikes Peak. Billy can make it work here. She's only got to get through 2 blockers where Ala's got 4. But those 2 blockers have really been putting on the hurting this evening. There is the whistle. Everybody kind of approaching slow. Now Pikes Peak has kind of had their jammer do this nice defense. And there we go, out of play called. So Billy Foul Play able to get out of the pack and go. Boom Boom McGee off to the penalty box, puts Pikes Peak down a blocker. And Ala Inubis looking to break her way out of the pack there. Being chased down by Beater Bailey, but Beater Bailey not able to connect. She's out. Billy Foul Play into the pack, picks up 4 points. And calls off the jam. Pikes Peak making a little headway there. 76-150 with 17:18 remaining on the clock. We seem to have a very similar rotation here as we see number 667, Ringo Scar, return to the jammer line up against number 00, Serious Business. Seen them a few times during this half. Both teams down 1 blocker currently at the moment, so no real advantage, although Pikes Peak has really been fielding their jammer in a defense position right off during the start there. and it seems to have given them a little bit of help, but this time Ringo Scar able to put it down and get out. Farm Fresh off to the penalty box, gonna put Pueblo down, another blocker again, which means they still have only 3. Serious Business coming through, able to make it past Strawberry Sour, who picks up a penalty on the hit there. Ringo Scar calling off the jam. 4 points for Pikes Peak. Waiting to see if there's any for Pueblo. No points for Pueblo. 80 to 150. Pueblo still with a pretty commanding lead as the clock continues to tick down. 16:05, but Pikes Peak really putting on the pressure and holding them. Number 16, 23, Jamie Foxshoe up on the jam line for Pueblo. Taking on Speedy Beauty. Like I said, this rotation has become almost predictable. Who's going to be up on the jam line there? Jamie Foxshoe on the outside. A nice little spin, but she comes back in, means she's going to get a cut call. Power jam for Pikes Peak. This is what they need. Speedy Beauty is out, and lead jammer doing her wonderful arm gestures. I'm assuming they're signals to her team members about whether to provide offense or not. Hardly Innocent picking up a multiplayer block there. 5 points go on the board more for Pikes Peak. Pueblo picks up another blocker but loses one, so they stay at 3. Makes it difficult to manage a power jam here, but they're putting on the heat this time. Farm Fresh at the front side pack. They're the last one to go. Speeding Beauty, Buyer for another 5 points. Pack waits for her, kind of in the middle of the straightaway on the far side. As she comes back in now, Jamie Foxshoe up returning from the penalty box, really pushing into that line. Speeding Beauty, meanwhile, down and not out there. She's back up. She is just taking a beating in that pack and getting tired. She is calling off the jam. Picked up another 4 points, bringing the Slamazons ever closer to Pueblo. 94 to 150. 14:20 remain on the clock. Billy foul play taking on Ala Inyabiz once again. Pack starts really stretched out here. Pueblo starting their defense at the back line and Pikes Peak waiting up front. Now this could be a bad situation if the teams get too far apart, but they've closed up that gap and now both jammers are just really facing off against some serious defense. Neither one getting any headway. Ala down into the infield, has to get back up and is now at the back of the pack. Billy Falbley, though, finds a way through. She's lead jammer for the Slamazons. Ala up against Peter Bailey at the front side. Or I'm sorry, that's Megan My Day. And I realize I've probably called her Peter Bailey a couple times now tonight. But anyway, Ala out and eligible to score. Billy Falbley in the pack, calls off the jam, picks up 3 points, moving the Slamazons ever so more close there. 97-150, team timeout being called by Pueblo. They're probably going to get together, talk about what's going on in this half and how they can fix it, because they really don't want to keep letting Pikes Peak creep up on them. With 13 minutes left to go, Pikes Peak could make a change with these low-scoring, get out, get the points, get out kind of jams.
There you go.
Well, I may have lied to you. It looks like the non-skating official is signaling that it's a Pikes Peak timeout, but initially they had signaled that it was a timeout called by Pueblo. So I have no idea whose timeout it is, but it's a timeout.
Check us out on Facebook if you want to take with one of our practice days.
Already full 5-on-5 on the track there. Ringo Scar with the star for Pueblo. Serious Business with the star for Pikes Peak. And it looks like we've gone to an official timeout. This is the game of timeouts. There we go, we're back. And we're off. Ringo Starr looking to drive that inside line. Gets really hung up by the wall of Pikes Peak Derby Dames. Multiplayer block being called on somebody. Serious business coming through. Big hit from Farm Fresh. She's down. Looks like that multiplayer block was on Strawberry Sour. Ringo Starr out and lead Jammer as Serious Business still stuck in the pack there. Bakes it by Joan Cusack and Farm Fresh, the front side of the pack there. Ringo Starr in and through the front. She's going to burn some time, call off the jam. 4 points, 97-154, 12:30 remaining on the clock. Jamie Foxx up and Speeding Beauty with the stars this time. Pueblo coming in with one blocker missing from the pack. Could be an advantage for the Pikes Peak Slamazons. Here comes the jam. We'll see how it turns out. Speedy Beauty looking to go right through Farm Fresh, but Farm Fresh not going to let it happen. Jamie Foxx up, meanwhile, taking a spill to the back of the pack as Speedy Beauty finds her way around Farm Fresh and is lead jammer for the Slamazons. Now, not too far behind her comes Jamie Foxx up looking to shut down the jam. She comes in and picks up 2 points. 99-154, 11:30 remaining in the period. Pikes Peak continuing to chip away at that lead. They're going to need to chip a little bit harder, though, I think, with 11 minutes left, or hope that Pueblo gives them some power jams to really make up that differential. But they've been doing a really good job here keeping Pueblo's point gain this period down. Makes it a little easier for them to go. Now we get back into the jam. We've got Billy Foulplay taking on Ala Inyabiz. Ala Inyabiz just 2 blockers to beat. Gets a little hung up there, but she does manage to clear the pack first. Lead jammer goes to Pueblo. Billy Foulplay, meanwhile, almost out. Comes back up and ends up picking up a cutting the track penalty. This is not what Pikes Peak wants. It's now a power jam for Pueblo. 5 points more go on the board for Pueblo. Pueblo going to be looking to really increase their lead here because they've lost some of the gain that they had from the first period. And this is their real first opportunity to get out there, get a jammer, put some points on the board, and they're going to take advantage of it. Ala with another 5 points on the board brings her to 10 total for this jam. Pack waits for her. She comes right back in. Now, Pikes Peak's blocker line back up to 4, so it's going to be a little more difficult for her to get through, but all she's got to do is really focus on driving that wall forward so she can put even more points on the board for Pueblo. Billy Foulplay returns from the penalty box. Decent kill on the penalty for Pikes Peak there as Billy Foulplay comes in hard and meets right up with that Pueblo defense. Pueblo ready for her as she comes in. She is not giving up the fight. Joan Cusack driving her to the outside line is going to pull her back. Forearm call on Ala Inyabiz means she's going to the penalty box. Yes, she's going to the penalty box. She didn't pick up another 5 points on the last pass there. Billy Foulplay now the only jammer out there. 21 seconds remaining on the clock for the jam. She is now out on her initial pass. She could put some points, try to make up for the 15-point deficit here. But as tough as Pueblo made it for her to get through, it may be tough for her to put points. There's going to be at least 1. That looks like 2. Jam comes to an end, and there they are, 2 points. It's all based on hip placement. If your hips pass the other, you get a point. So I was standing here watching the hips, and I could see her picking up those 2 points. Being careful as she made her way through that pack. 101-169. Pueblo currently with a 68-point lead. I can only tell you because the math is real easy. And we've got 8:40 remaining. like I said, at this point in time, the Slamazons really need power jams or some big scoring jams where they're able to hold Pueblo's jammer, and that just hasn't really happened for them yet. Now this is a power jam situation as we get started. Serious business though at the front gets hung up. Harley Anderson going to pick a direction of play. Penalty, serious business, lead jammer. Ringo Scar returned from the penalty box and is out and not very far behind her. I would say 20-ish feet separate the two. So serious business telling her team to get up front. They're not listening though. She's in, swings around, calls off the jam. 2-2 on the jam. Little late on the, I'm sorry, 3-2 on the jam. Little late on the call off there, but it gave them a 1-point gain overall. 104-170 with 7:49 remaining, and we've got 66 points to go if I can do the math correctly. It looks like Pikes Peak using their official review. They were not successful last time they used an official review. Let's see if they have any more success this time. I'll tell you what it is if I find out. I'll keep an ear open for the house mics just to see if I can find out what the challenge is here. If I understood what I heard on the house mic there, the challenge is that the jammer from Pueblo went to the box and served her penalty on the wrong side of the penalty box, which would mean that she did not officially serve her time because she was in the wrong color seat. So the refs are conferring to see. We'll see if Pueblo gets to keep their jammer or not, and that'll answer our question as to whether the challenge was won or not. I haven't seen that happen before, but if the normally the non-skating officials are directing you to the seat you need to be in, so I don't know how that call would be rectified if the question was even a valid question. So I know I saw the refs checking with the penalty box and conferring. There's still some talking going on. Looks like the official timeout has come to an end, and the penalty appears to have been served because both jammers are still on the line. Pack is going to start up at the pivot line here, and we're going to have Ringo Scar taking on Speeding Beauty. Pueblo down one blocker, so slight advantage to Pikes Peak, and they need it. They really, really need to come back strong and get some high-scoring jams where they hold Pueblo's blocker. Speeding Beauty out, and Pikes Peak turning on the defense, but not able to hold Ringo Scar. So at the most, Speeding Beauty's going to pick up 4 points if she can get to the pack fast and get out and get all those points. She comes in hard, she's through. She calls off the jam for 4. No points for Pueblo. 7 minutes remaining on the clock. 108-170. Pueblo maintaining that lead. Billy foul play on the jam line for the Slamazons. Going to take on Jamie Fox you up for Pueblo, and once again we're going to bring it to the front of the blocker box there, right next to the pivot line. Pueblo's still down a blocker. They're struggling to keep blockers on the track, which isn't helping them. Now Billy foul play goes to the outside, slides right around Nitrogen, and is lead jammer. Jamie Foxshoe on the inside line is able to clear the pack. Now she's about a half a lap behind Billy, so Billy's going to be looking to put some points on the board. Jamie coming in, Billy calls off the jam. 2 points on the jam for Pikes Peak. 111, 170, 6 minutes. I'm sorry, 110. It was just 2 points to 170. 6 minutes remain, 60 points to go. That's 10 points a minute, Pikes Peak. You gotta be able to hold on to Pueblo's jammer to make up that difference here. Ala Inyabiz taking on Serious Business. We're up to 5-on-5 once again in the pack. Slow start there by both jammers. Ala Inyabiz really just driving the line. Serious Business looking to take advantage of that as it was just her team on the inside line, but Pueblo shifts. Everybody's dropped. Ala Inyabiz picking up a high block means lead jammer goes to Serious Business. Now, here's what I was talking about. Pueblo has to give them a power jam, and now they got to put points. Serious Business got 30 seconds here to put as many points on the board as she can for the Slamazons. This could be the game changer with 5 minutes left. This is what Pikes Peak needs to take advantage of. Very nice work by Serious Business there as she came up against James Bondage. James Bondage did not want to let her go, but she made it out with a nice little spin around on the outside there. 5 points on the board. Serious Business back in. Now here's where Pueblo's been doing really great all night. The penalty kill. They give up the power jam, but then their blockers just turn on the defense. They take some penalties from it seems, but they're able to kill that penalty. There's 5 more points on the board for Serious Business as James Bondage heads to the penalty box, and Pueblo lost Nitrogen, I believe, to the penalty box as well. So that leaves just 2 blockers for Pueblo. Might make it a little easier. There we go. Serious Business back through for another 4 points on the board. And Ala Inyabiz back in the pack there, struggling to get around the 4 wall of Pikes Peak blockers. Now with just Moose and Kitty at the front side of the pack there. She is driving, looking to get out, and she's out. Serious Business now back in and around again for another 4-point pass. 18 points on the board. We're at 3:55, so good game by Pikes Peak and good use of timeout there. They call a timeout just as the jam comes to an end, so that'll stop the clock. And that's what Pikes Peak needs to do right now. 128, 170. They're making it much doable every time they get out there. They keep much more doable every time they get out there, keep Pueblo to 0, and put these bigger points on the board. That was an 18-point jam for Serious Business in 1 minute 10 seconds. Not too shabby compared to some of the other jams that we've had in this period where Pikes Peak has only been able to put up 3-4 points at a time, and it was burning a minute off the clock. Ringo Scar with the star for the Pueblo Derby Devil Dolls, taking on Speeding Beauty for the Slamazons. And again, Pueblo down 1 blocker on the track means that Pikes Peak has a slight advantage as we go into this. Maybe what Pikes Peak needs. Looks like there was a small revision to the score. Pikes Peak actually got 19 points in the last jam. So 129, 170. Game on whistle blows. There's the jam whistle. Speeding Beauty ready to break on through to the other side. Gets stuck behind the big Kapowski and Farm Fresh, but then wiggles around, finds her way out. Now right hot on her trail is Ringo Scar, really turning up the speed. She wants to shut down this jam. Does not want to let Pikes Peak have any more movement. Speeding Beauty coming into the pack is going to call off the jam. No points for Pikes Peak. It's a little too late, though. She gives up 2 points to Pueblo. That means Pikes Peak now has that much further to go in this last 3 minutes of the game. 129, 172. 43-point differential. It's still very doable because in this jam or in this half, we've seen Pueblo give up a number of power jams. Maybe their defense is getting tired. Maybe we're hoping for another power jam.
I've seen 45 5-point jams before.
It is absolutely possible for it to happen. But what's going on out here right now, as we get back into the action, Jamie Fox up at the front side of the pack there, breaks the front side of the pack there. Lead jammer goes to Pueblo. Now they may creep even further ahead. Billy Foulplay, meanwhile, stuck in the pack behind Nitrogen, and Farm Fresh is taken out to the outfield by the big Kapowski and recycled. And Jamie Foxup is back around to put some more points on the board for Pueblo, and there she goes right through for 5. This does not look good for Pikes Peak as the clock continues to tick down, and we don't want to let Pueblo get further and further ahead, unless of course you're at home and you're a Pueblo fan, then you're more than happy with this. Billy Foulplay has made her way out, and now she's coming around looking to shut down the jam. Jamie Foxup is going to go ahead and pick up 4 more points for Pueblo, giving them 9 more points that Pikes Peak's got to catch up to, and then call off the jam. 129, 181, 147 remaining on the clock. We're only going to get 1 or 2 more jams here, maybe 3, maybe 4 with good time management. It could be done, but it's going to be real tough. Pikes Peak has really got to play a tight game in the coming minute and 30 seconds. There is the jam whistle. Ringo Scar taking on Rip and Rooster. Ringo Scar clears along the inside line. Pueblo taking lead jam. Pueblo coming back now and turning back on what we saw in the first period from them means this is likely going to end in their favor if they continue to play the way they're playing right now. Really good defense in the pack there from Joan Kusmak and Nitrogen and the big Kapowski, as Ringo Scar is just going to go in and rack up some more points. There's another 5 for Pueblo. Rip and Rooster makes her way out of the pack, not lead, but it's going to stop the points accumulation from Pueblo. Ringo Scar calls off the jam, earns 1 more point. 6 more points now for Pueblo. 129, 187. Official timeout has been called. We're adding time to the clock, so we have 42 seconds remaining in the period. The scenario here is going to be if Pueblo gets out their jammer and is able to hold Pikes Peak's jammer, they're going to burn off that time on the clock. If Pikes Peak can get their jammer out and hold Pueblo's jammer, they're going to go for as many points as they can, but not let the clock run out and call an immediate timeout. This is the scenario I see happening, depending on who gets out of the pack first. Jamie Foxup jamming for Pueblo with just 1 more to go. Beater Bailey, she's out. Lead jammer goes to Pueblo. We're going to see some clock burn happen here, folks, as the clock ticks under 27 seconds. Jamie Foxup still going for points, though. Meanwhile, Speeding Beauty stuck in the pack. Whistle is blown on a back block call on Speeding Beauty. Pikes Peak no longer has a jammer. 13 seconds remain on the clock. Jamie Foxup picks another 5 points up for Pueblo. She doesn't even have to do anything anymore, folks, with just 4 seconds left, but she's going to look to put some more points on the board. She comes in. She's up to the wall there, gets hung up by Crab Apple and Beater Bailey. Now Brass Moose Knuckle, Beater Bailey, and Grenade looking to take her out, but she's through. That's going to put another 5 points on the board. The period clock is gone. We still have a minute left on the jam, though. Jamie is ready to keep on skating. She's going to go ahead and call off the jam. That's probably a wise move. 129, 197. Pueblo coming in really strong in the first period. Giving up a little bit there at the front half of the second period, but then finding that second win, coming in, really putting on the defense and managing to get their jammer out and at least maintain the number of points spread that they had or gain a little bit from time to time. Waiting for the official word here, but I'm pretty sure that we're looking at a win for the Pueblo Derby Devil Dolls. And there is the game over whistle, folks. So we have the winner is Pueblo Derby Devil Dolls, 129-197. Like I said, really good defense from Pueblo in the first half. Really good releasing their jammer and holding Pikes Peak's jammer. Then in the second half, as we came back, we saw Pikes Peak really turn it on and turn it up. They came back strong. They got a little closer, but then Pueblo found their second win. They came in and they just continued to dominate or match Pikes Peak in that second half. This is a good win for Pueblo. I know this is their second win in these past couple weeks, so that's got to really make them happy. They're taking their lap of congratulations for being the winners, and then we'll see Pikes Peak Slamazons take their lap. What a strong, tough game they fought. It was a lot of hits, a lot of tough blocking from both teams, a lot of good jamming going on there. But unfortunately, they were unable to take it in the end. But they did play a really good game against Pueblo. All right, ladies and gentlemen, and that's going to end tonight's broadcast here on ColoradoSports.TV. Thank you so much for joining us for the Pikes Peak Derby Dames Slamazons versus the Pueblo Derby Devil Dolls right here on ColoradoSports.TV. I'm Bangers and Smash. Oh. And look for us tomorrow. We'll be broadcasting from the Glitter Dome in Denver. The doubleheader between the Denver Roller Dolls home teams begins at 6 p.m. tomorrow. And you may hear my voice again, along with some others you'll probably recognize from up at the Glitter Dome. So thank you very much, folks. I'm Bangers and Smash. This is ColoradoSports.TV. Have a great evening.